And so in my case, it was my partner, my significant other, who sexually assaulted me.
Somebody who came through my bathroom window while I was sleeping and held a knife to my throat and raped me.
It does take a toll on you, and you have to work back to the place that you were when you felt that you had the power and that you were safe.
I'm sure this is a big ask, but are you able to kind of tell me a little bit about your journey from after the trauma to where you are now, and how you kind of got to a place of survivorship?
So firstly, having to deal with, okay, this has happened, saying to myself, because nobody else can do that for you but yourself. So yeah, I think the most understanding person was my grandmother, of all people. And she was almost 80 at that time. Like, she was just so loving and understanding. And that was the person that I least expected that from. She just literally took me in her arms and just held me. And that was amazing.
I found comfort in my friends and family at the time. And I just took a break. I left China for a little while, took a break. And when I came back, I could feel that I was beginning to feel a lot better and feel like a more whole person.
I was wondering if there was anything in particular that either helped or hindered your journey from trauma to where you are now.
It wasn't difficult to share, but for me, what I was afraid of was the reaction. And I'll never forget when I told my parents, the first thing my mother said was, "It's because you don't go to church. That's why it happened to you." And I was so grateful for the counseling, because that is one of the things that we discussed and we spoke about, and I knew that would be her reaction. So I literally had to put myself in her shoes as a parent. This is my way of showing that I am shocked and I am hurt, and not hurt, she was hurt for what has happened to me. And that was the only way she knew how to respond.
I guess I can't really fault people necessarily, but some people are just not comfortable hearing about that, or talking about it, whether it's you sharing your story with them or just the subject in general. And I think, I don't know why people get uncomfortable, with something that's, someone wants to confide in them about. But I would say the only thing, that maybe has made me feel uncomfortable with myself is when other people seem uncomfortable with it. It's just a reality. We can't hide from reality and pretend like all of the uncomfortable or bad things aren't happening in this world.
I had an experience once where I was on a radio show, and somebody called in and he said to me, oh, you were probably wearing a short dress. That's why this happened to you. And I was just so shocked for a minute or two because I couldn't understand. And I said to him, excuse me, I was in my pajamas in my bed sleeping. And so you have to deal, not only you have to deal with your experience, but you have to deal with how society perceives. And it's such a, it angers me a lot, because how will survivors or victims of sexual trauma, how will they, at the end of the day, how are we as a society helping them on their journey of healing if we still perpetuate these perceptions?
What does it mean for you both to survive sexual trauma?
For me personally, it meant to get back to a place where I felt safe and that I had power over myself, my body, my choices.
Yeah, I would agree with Megan there. And it's also about getting, like, literally reclaiming yourself and your life, and then acknowledging that this is what has happened to you. This is part now of your life story.
Does it define you?
I guess it does now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a difficult one, isn't it? It's interesting because you don't want such an act of violence to define you, but it is part of who you are.
I would say how I've healed from it has defined me, not the experience itself.
As two people that have experienced sexual trauma, what you feel about the words victim and survivor, and also where you might place yourself.
Personally, the language, the word that someone uses to describe me, I would just consider it more of a past versus present.
I use the word survivor for myself because, first of all, he could have killed me that night with that knife. And just the fact that I was still alive, that to me was surviving. But then also taking charge, as I said previously, like just reclaiming my power, that to me was part of my survival.
You've both talked about being quite active in supporting others and speaking out about sexual trauma. Is that essential to surviving it?
Not everybody is going to be so vocal, outspoken about it. And so I think, for me, it was necessary, but I can only speak for myself, not anyone else.
I'm not ashamed of it. I can speak very openly about it, but still, and that just shows you the journey is a long journey. And it's not easy, and it comes with these ups and downs, so yes, it's not part of everybody's journey to speak out. No.
When you think of certain experiences that we go through, you can kind of have the idea that this won't happen to you. You can otherize it. That happens to other people.
Yeah, this can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter gender, sexual orientation, nationality, age. Anyone can be affected.
It's all about understanding, and what we are doing right now is part of that education, of informing the public, of sharing our stories so that people can have a better understanding.
And I hear that you've been running some support groups for people that have experienced sexual violence. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So we have been working, and this is in kind of a collaborative effort. But United Family Hospital is kind of the one spearheading these support groups. And so Tonye and I have both been facilitators of these groups, and they are a great place for people to talk about, how their experiences have affected them, and how they're coping today. And the great thing about these groups is that they are virtual. That means no matter where you are in China, there is an option for you to get support.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to each other or to other people who've experienced sexual trauma?
It's the message of you are not alone. That is crucial. You are not alone. It is not your fault.